COVID-19 has reframed the human experience for everyone around the world. What began as a local outbreak became a global pandemic that's turned into the biggest humanitarian emergency in modern history. As lockdowns and travel bans push us into our homes, it's also raised greater awareness of the struggles of the most vulnerable communities, those who live without easy access to proper healthcare, education, or support. For me personally, this time has made me think about Atulie'er, a village that time has almost forgotten, perched on a cliff in China's Sichuan province. From a bird's eye view, the scene is perfectly romantic, with a lush landscape and a view of the near vertical drop to the valley below. From cliff top to river bottom, it's 2,624 feet. In reality, however, life here is extremely hard for the villagers, some of whose families have lived in Atulie'er for 200 years. There is little food and little money, and poverty there is hard to escape. A steep steel staircase that only recently replaced a handmade wooden ladder connects the village to the communities below, where residents often go to seek basic and essential needs like education and medicine. The journey isn't safe, and for some it's completely impossible. Because of the physical demands of the journey, older villagers have not been able to leave the area in years. Young children must learn how to climb down the ladder to go to school. They only see their parents weeks later when they return home for break. But what if we could eliminate the need for the staircase altogether? What if the people living in this village had things like quality education and trained medical professionals readily available? That's what's happening for 84 families who've relocated from Atulie'er to a new purpose-built community 75 kilometers away. New hospitals, new schools, and new homes. Every family is given an apartment and startup money to help pay for furniture and modern appliances. It's a brand new life and a brand new way of living. The story of their new lives began a few years ago when Chen, a photojournalist from Beijing, came by the village. Chen's pictures of life in the village connected with others from the outside, bringing back memories of China's own struggle out of poverty. Up until the 1980s, most of China was living without life's basic necessities. They were not just poor, but hungry and unable to read or write. Now, in a country of 1.4 billion people, only 40 million are still left behind, which is of course 40 million too many. In most cases, these impoverished people live in remote areas with few roads, unreliable transport, unsustainable employment, and little access to the outside world. They're cut off from the basic services that could turn around their lives. Chen Jie's pictures of children struggling on the wooden ladder went viral on social media. With ponytails and backpacks, they could have been students from any part of the country, were it not for the massive cliff faces they clung to. For the public, the ladder and staircase became a living metaphor for ambition. Then the public pitched in. First, the ladder was pushed aside, and then the steel staircase was constructed in its place. Still, this wasn't the answer. It was a temporary solution to a long-term problem. But the answer, it seems, was in the village all along. The villagers are from the Yi ethnic minority, a group of about 9 million people in China who live in Sichuan, Yunnan, Guizhou, and Guangxi. Many of their peers have adapted to a modern way of life, but the isolation of the villagers in Atulie'er meant their traditions have been kept intact. 30 families have chosen to stay behind, and Atulie'er will be protected as a cultural heritage site. The remaining villagers are encouraged to preserve and share their traditions to expand awareness of the Yi people and their culture, while the 84 families who have been resettled in the valley will improve their prospects through job training. And they're preparing for the changes to come. A world with Wi-Fi, smartphones, and digital interfaces awaits them. A wide world of access and information lies ahead, giving them the opportunity to better support their transforming community. I can only imagine that they feel excited about the unknowns, while also feeling a bit nervous at the enormity of what lies ahead. We wish them well on their new journey as they climb a new ladder towards opportunity, health, and prosperity. I'm James Chow, and this is The China Current. The China Current continues its special coverage on the coronavirus outbreak. Go to our social media at The China Current and our website for interviews, videos, and podcasts. I'm James Chow. Thank you.